thought of himself as a smart individual, which meant keeping a straight face when a member of the ruling class said something, even if it was utterly ridiculous. So he did all he could not to laugh as Austin talked about transports and trips in the future. He even maintained tearless eye contact when Austin mentioned being best friends with his yet-to-be-conceived great-great-great-grandson. But when Austin mentioned the plan to take down the descendants of Henry David Coolidge, HD for short, the laughter flowed like urine from a busted bladder. That was because even a mere 15 years after the end of the Civil War, H.D. Coolidge was already one of the wealthiest and powerful men in North America. He and two other men, Walter Brewer and Kyle Bishop, had established a very successful investment firm several years back. They were wizards in stock investments and made themselves and their many clients boatloads of money. In fact, they were so good at market speculation that they were investigated on suspicions of insider trading on at least 3 occasions. In the end, however, nothing illegal could be proven, so they continued to beat the markets and take on more and more clients. With capital overflowing their coffers, they decided to lay their claim to a piece of the Industrial Revolution. Coolidge personally bought a controlling interest in the burgeoning transcontinental railroad. Then, with the collaborative efforts of Brewer and Bishop, he delved into oil refining and transportation to the point of monopolizing the industry through horizontal integration. This led to John D. Rockefeller filing a lawsuit for corporate espionage as he was certain that Coolidge had a spy planted in the Rockefeller camp. Of course, the lawsuit went nowhere, and it wasn't long before Coolidge and his band of corporate raiders made the same consolidation move in the steel manufacturing industry. This time, one Andrew Carnegie was the short end of the beach utility stick. Now, aside from crystal ball-like insight, one of the reasons Coolidge and his partners were so successful at cornering major industry markets was the lack of a Sherman Antitrust Act. It was something that would have prevented them from these underhanded dealings in pre-Armageddon America. But since John Sherman was banned from public service after the war, a penalty far less severe than the hanging his brother William received, there was absolutely nothing illegal about what they were doing. By the spring of 1878, the reigning patriarch of the Coolidge family dynasty was worth over $1 billion and counting. So from Poochie's standpoint, not only was H.D. a member of the ruling class, he was the ruling class. Poochie tried to mask his outburst by covering his mouth, but wasn't fast enough to evade Austin's notice. Austin, for his part, took his lumps by showing no ill will, because he knew, had the tables been turned, he would have done the exact same thing. So instead of beating a dead horse by word of mouth, he opted for plan B, proof through actions. Okay, I assume that was a bit much to take in, Austin said. Yes, sir, H.D. Coolidge is a pretty big name around these parts, bigger than the president. Yeah, I imagine it would be. Austin massaged his chin. Tell me something, Pooch. People do much betting on horse racing around here? The question made Poochie nervous. Gambling wasn't exactly a legal pastime for the subclass, and it most certainly wasn't something a ruling class citizen would discuss with him. Austin, sensing his worry, immediately sought to ease his concerns. I only asked because you work with horses, so I assume you might overhear conversations about betting on them. Now, for some reason he couldn't put his finger on, Poochie got the feeling you could trust him. Well, I might hear a little something every now and then. But if you don't mind me asking, sir, he looked toward the back door of the shop to make sure the coast was clear. Why do you want to know? Austin reached into his knapsack and pulled out a pen and paper. Here's the thing, Pooch. If there's one thing I've learned in my life that we can all agree on, it's the one way to get somebody to believe you is to convince them that what you're trying to get them to believe is a sure thing. He started jotting something down on a piece of paper. You with me on that? Poochie nodded. Yeah, that sounds about right. Austin handed him a sheet of paper, then tried to act as non-condescending as he could. You read, Poochie? Yes, sir, he answered, unoffended. Good. Now, today is the 18th of May, and I'm not saying you actually know anybody that takes bets on horses, but if you do, he pulled two $5 bills out of his pocket and handed them to Poochie. I want you to put $5 down on the horse running in the Kentucky Derby on the 21st, and $5 down on the horse running in the Preakness on the 27th. He grabbed his knapsack and threw it over his shoulder and stood up. I'll be back here on the 28th to talk again. Now, like I said, if you do happen to run across somebody The place goes best for you, and those two horses win, you keep the winnings. Poochie's eyes lit up. All I ask is that when we talk again, keep an open mind. You think you'll be able to do that? Poochie wanted badly to say yes, if for nothing more, just so he could get back to work. But for some reason, he actually respected this crazy white man, so he spoke his true feelings. Well, Mr. Austin, was it? Austin nodded. These two horses winning would be pretty spectacular. But I heard sometimes people who know how to play the odds right get lucky. Austin laughed heartily. Yeah, you make a good point, Pooch. Just like your great-great-great-grandson always did. He made sure there was no margin for error. That's why if you look at that paper once more, you'll see under the names of the winners, I also jotted down the exact times. Poochie looked at the sheet. Daystar to win Kentucky Derby, 2 minutes, 43.5 seconds. And Duke of Magenta to win Preakness, 2 minutes, 41.75 seconds. Now, if they win in those times, would you still say it was luck, or would you agree that I just might be onto something? Poochie stared at the unblinking Austin, then looked back to the sheet, and finally back to Austin. If they win at these times, my mind will be wide open. Austin winked. That's what I want to hear. He shook Poochie's hand. Great to meet you, Poochie. I'll see you on the 28th. Austin hiked up on his knapsack and walked through the back entrance to the showroom. Within seconds, he was out the shop and blending in with the rest of the Highlands commuter traffic. Poochie, for his part, stared at the piece of paper like he was waiting for something magical to jump off of it. Now, besides racing against the clock, Austin had no interest in hanging around 19th century D.C. for 10 days. So he returned to the transport and programmed in a hop, skip, and a jump to the wee hours of May 28th. As before, he waited until daybreak to venture into the Highlands business district. Poochie was finishing up with a customer when Austin walked into the buggy repair and supply shop. Polk and the other co-worker were sweeping up and stacking supplies and froze up at the sight of him. Austin became instantly aware of two things. One, Poochie had at the very least checked the races and the winning times. And two, he told his co-workers about the outcomes. Poochie gave Austin a head nod toward the backyard while he made change for his patron. His co-workers watched Austin's every step toward the back so intently that had he so much as sneezed, they might have peed themselves. Austin was seated on the bench in the back when Poochie entered the yard. Your buddies look like they saw a ghost. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to tell somebody when I saw it on Posting Times. You don't have to worry none, though. They won't tell nobody. He chuckled. I doubt anybody gonna believe him anyhow. So where does that leave us? Austin asked. Poochie pulled an envelope from his pocket and handed it to Austin. Look, you already asked me who I like in the Belmont next month. Austin looked at the wad of cash in the envelope and handed it back to him. When I said, where does that leave us, I meant, are you ready to trust that what I'm telling you is true? Poochie's apprehension was more fear-based than anything. He put the envelope back in his pocket and looked back toward the shop before responding. You mean about Coolidge and all that future stuff? Austin nodded. Ain't it easier for us to just bet the horses in the sports pages? Man, I bet we could clean up on who won the National League in baseball. Austin sighed. Poochie still wasn't getting the big picture. And what are you going to do with all that money if you win? As soon as you try to spend it, you have to explain where you got it. Poochie shrugged. You know, in the world I came from, you could put those winnings down on the business of your own if you wanted to. A former slave can run his own business, Poochie said, sarcastically. And then suddenly, with no fear or social filtering for the fact that he was speaking to a ruling class individual, added, what world is that? Austin liked his moxie, and then he was finally getting through to him. Spark plug, the start of the post-Armageddon underground revolution was ready to be ignited. You want to hear about this world, he asked? Poochie nodded. Good, have a seat.